It's tough to even start this one. Some stories just hit harder than others. And today, we're diving into one of those. A story that just, well, stays with you.
Yeah, I completely agree. Some cases just stick with you, and this is certainly one of them. It's the Marco Muzzo case back from 2015.
Right, 2015, the drunk driving crash. And the aftermath, which continues to this day. We're going to take a look at what happened, the victims, the families involved, and the recent parole decision. All from a global news video.
Sounds good. It's been, what, almost 8 years now? And the impact is still deeply felt, especially for the Neville Lake family.
It's unimaginable, really. Losing 3 children in an instant. 9-year-old Daniel, 5-year-old Harrison, and 2-year-old Millie, and their grandfather, Gary Neville, who was driving the minivan.
Tragic. Absolutely tragic. And we often talk about drunk driving in a sort of, statistical way, but when you see the faces, hear the names, it's a whole other level.
It really is. Let's rewind for a moment. Back to September 27th, 2015. Marco Muzzo, he was flying back from his bachelor party in Miami, landed at Pearson Airport in Toronto.
Right. And instead of getting a ride or calling a cab, he decided to drive, got behind the wheel with a blood alcohol level almost 3 times the legal limit.
A disastrous decision that led to him running a stop sign and colliding with that minivan carrying the Neville Lake family.
Yeah.
The impact was, well, devastating.
Devastating. Daniel, Harrison, and Millie, as you said, were killed instantly, along with their grandfather, Gary Neville. The children's grandmother and great-grandmother were also in the minivan and were severely injured.
And if that weren't enough, the children's mother, Jennifer Neville Lake, she suffered a miscarriage shortly after the crash. It's just too much.
Absolutely. It really puts a face to the very real and very human cost of drunk driving.
And recently, Muzzo was granted full parole after serving just over 5 years of his 10-year sentence.
A lot of people feel that's not nearly enough time.
Yeah, many people were outraged. At the time of his sentencing, it was the longest sentence ever given in Canada for impaired driving causing death. But, the parole system aims to balance punishment with rehabilitation.
Right. And it's important to understand that a long sentence doesn't mean someone will serve every single day. Parole is a part of the system.
So Muzzo is out now, but he does have conditions. No alcohol, no contact with the victim's family. And he's also banned from visiting entire regions, Brampton and York region.
Yeah, that's not common. It seems that's specifically to prevent any chance encounters with the Neville Lake family, to protect them.
It's an attempt, at least, to provide some measure of peace. Imagine the additional trauma of running into the person responsible for so much loss, just going about your day.
Unthinkable, really. Jennifer Neville Lake, in the video we watched, she talked about finding some relief in knowing she can now go to places she used to frequent with her kids without worrying about running into Muzzo.
It's just heartbreaking to hear her talk about it. She said she still feels like her children are just out with their grandfather, getting ice cream, that they're not really gone.
It's a powerful and terribly sad illustration of the enduring bond between a parent and a child, and the complex ways we cope with such a loss.
There's no happy ending to this story. There's no real closure. Just the raw, horrible truth of lives lost and a family shattered.
Yeah. The justice system has done what it can, but the Neville Lake family will forever live with this. And this case stands as a very stark reminder of the consequences of getting behind the wheel while impaired.
It does. Thank you for listening to Justice for the Souls podcast.